Okay, what you were watching there was one of Cyndi Dale's most popular books, and we will meet her in a moment. Hey everyone, I'm Andy Asher here. I'm with bloomerboomer.com and the editor here. And September, by the way, is just a huge month that we want to tell you about as we are kicking off the first full season of new shows with some amazing celebrity hosts, thought leaders and authors and visionaries and breakthrough messages and discoveries for all of us who are over 55, right? All the shows are live on your favorite social media channel and on bloomerboomer.com, and you can go there right now where it is streaming as well as streaming all those other places. And also you can ask questions too. Now, if you prefer to binge watch at your own convenience, you can visit your favorite host at their webpage at bloomerboomer.com. And today I'm going to be introducing you to our internationally renowned Cyndi Dale with 27 books about energy medicine, intuition, and spirituality. Now, if you want to be part of this amazing journey with the bloomerboomer.com website and our community, you can register on the website for the newsletter and qualify for some member benefits as well. Also, like I mentioned earlier, please like and follow us on your favorite social media channel where we live stream everything like we're doing right now on Facebook and YouTube, Twitter and Twitch, Instagram, and on bloomerboomer.com. So, in a moment, we are going to meet Cyndi Dale, author, intuitive, and healer. In the meantime, don't forget, I got to remind you, I love marmalade. Well, Cyndi Dale, it is so great having you here today. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm energized. That's what I'm going to be talking about. You actually sound like you have a lot of energy too, Andy.
You're right. I do. I've noticed that. I don't know particularly why that is, but I guess that's a good thing, right?
It's a good thing. I think it means you love what you're doing is part of it.
Yeah, that always helps. So now this is your first really episode 1, how can you easily and immediately unleash your reservoir of natural energy. Now, you explore the definition of energy and the various ways that we make and store and access it. And you also are going to later share with us a couple of easy ways to bring and activate natural energy for any purpose. Now, does that sound just about right for today?
That's what we're going to be doing. I love studying energy. I love having energy. I have to share a funny story, though. A few years ago, when my youngest son was maybe 4 years old, I was just exhausted. Single mom, 3 kids, 5 animals, this and that. And the end of the day, he was like, "Let's go play baseball, Mom." And I said, I just can't do it. I don't have any energy. And he looked at me and he said, "Well, why don't you just get a battery? It works for that little bunny on the television."
Yeah, that's right. I agree with that. I wish we could get those. Yeah.
I know.
Need that. Okay, just one more thing. I'm really looking forward to your new season on bloomerboomer.com. It's just amazing, though, how your message has carried you around the world. Can you tell us a little about yourself and how you got to this point, got from here to there, you might say?
Yeah, I certainly can. When I was a kid, I was one of those odd kids. My parents just sort of rolled their eyes and told me to stop making things up. But I actually could see colors around people, which is energy, subtle energy, we call it. I could hear spirits. I could hear ghosts. My hands would heat up. If somebody was sick, I'd have a sense of what was going to happen. And I just thought that was normal, though my parents certainly didn't. And so I didn't really start to understand that I was an energy expert without knowing it until I was in therapy when I was about 19 or 20. And I had a laundry list of issues I was working on: codependency, OCD, this and that. And my therapist finally looked at me and said, you're not only all these things, you're actually psychic. And that was the first time I started to really understand there's many types of energy. Energy is the word that we use right now, but that statement set me around the world to learn how people work with this invisible energy, which energy is just information that moves. That's all it is.
I see.
So
Yeah.
I was lucky to be able to learn how energy works from the point of view of different cultures, shamans in Peru, Venezuela, Japan. And so eventually I got here writing books
Yeah.
and helping clients with their energy.
Now, when we talk about intuitive and intuit, it's really what you're describing in a way, right?
Yeah, because I mean, it's a scientific fact, not just a woo woo fact,
Uh-huh.
that everything is made of energy and energy's information that moves. So if the information in your coffee cup is saying this is coffee, it's coffee. If you change the data in there, maybe it turns into tea. And some people can do things like that. It also vibrates. So if it's vibrated a certain frequency or rate, you have hot coffee. If it's not so fast, you have cold coffee. So there's physical energy, Andy, which is the stuff that, we can touch and measure and look at and, kind of prove to each other. But I'm more of an expert at what they these days call subtle energy, which is 99.999% of reality. It's the stuff that's unseen, but it actually decides what's going to appear in physical reality or not.
Yeah. Well, I think it describes all of us. And as we said today, you're going to be talking about, Cyndi, how we can easily and immediately unleash our reservoir of natural energy. So please tell us a little bit more about it.
I'll do that. So I'm going to give a couple statements that there's physical energy. So even though I'm an intuitive and I do healing work on people and work in the world of the invisible, I still have to take care of my physical reality. Okay. I still need to eat well. I need to sleep. I need to breathe deeply. I need to take care of my day-to-day functions. And I have to pay attention to what's physical because that's a lot of what feeds our energy. I mean, if you just eat nothing but Snickers bars all day, and I love Snickers bars.
I do too. I got to admit, I'm glad you came out. So do I.
You know what? I have at least one a week, and I have no shame
All
about that.
right.
All right. You can get by with a little bit of sinning, if you also act like a saint physically in other ways. So, I eat my vegetables, I eat good fish, I do this and that and the other thing. But we also have to pay attention to our subtle energy, our own energy, and what we want to be around, because certain types of invisible energies, or what we can only sense or feel, either costs us energy and it makes us feel down and tired, and other types of subtle energies can pick us up and just zip us along. Some of those subtle energies have to do with what we're doing inside of ourselves. Some of them have to do with what we expose ourselves to. Well, let me give you a for instance about the outside piece, and this is our second episode. Next time we're going to talk about those people who zap us. But we've all experienced being around certain people and we're just tired within 3 minutes, aren't we? Like,
Yeah.
we're just down. We're like, oh my gosh, I can't move. I was going to go for a walk. Now I can't. And then sometimes when we're around other people, we just feel zippy. We're excited. We're full of zest. We're full of vim and vigor. That's the way that we know what subtle energies, what stuff this is coming off of people, or what we're picking up from nature, or how we're talking to ourselves deep inside, whether that's giving us more energy or costing us energy.
Gotcha. Now, I know how energy plays into it, but I guess I need to ask you to drill down a little more to define energy a little more, because the various ways we store and then we access it.
Exactly. So we have what's called subtle energy fields that come off of our body. They emanate from cells, from organ systems, from something called chakras. Chakras are subtle energy organs. They're in the body, they're around the body. They've been known for thousands and thousands of years in various cultures. Yoga students work with chakras all the time. Ayurvedic professionals, their East Indian doctors work with these chakras. That's sort of the base knowledge we need to understand how we store energy and how we express it, because each of these chakras sits in a different part of the body and interacts with different bands of energy that are outside of us. So chakras, according to where they are, one brings in physical energy from outside of us. It'll absorb energy from nature. Another will absorb energy from our environment. Another will absorb energy from other people's emotions. Yet another chakra will bring in energy from how other people around us are thinking or what their attitudes are about, or will absorb energy if we're in a church or a temple or a place of worship, if we really are attracted to that energy and it's good for us. So the core mechanism for bringing in and storing energy are these chakras. They're sort of like receptacles, and they'll hold these different types of energy, physical, emotional, natural, etc., until we need them, until we have to use those energies.
I see. So the book that actually we have showing today is your book on chakras. So that way, I guess it'll get deeper into it for people who want to explore it more. You know, and
Exactly.
and I know you plan to share a couple of easy ways to bring and activate natural energy for any purpose. But can you just take a couple of frequently asked questions from our followers? Is that okay?
I'd love to. Great.
Okay. Cyndi will be right back. Okay, we're back with Cyndi Dale and your frequently asked questions. This is from Lois, and she says she's believing in living the world as a spiritual being, but sometimes has trouble reminding herself how to achieve it. Is that something that you can address?
Everybody struggles with that.
Uh-huh.
And there is that concept that we're spiritual beings having a human experience. And what can happen, and this has to do with energy, is when we're young, when we're in our mother's womb, when we're growing up, now that we're in the world, we can sometimes absorb energies that don't match our spirit or our essence or who we know who we really are. We're going to be most energized physically, psychologically, and spiritually if what energy we're bringing in, if who we're around really feeds our unique self. And when we're around that which is negative for us, maybe people who are negative, we still have stuck in our head something nasty that dad used to do or say, or we watch the television, it has all this angry, fearful kind of stuff on it. What happens is that the body will hold those energies that are not good for us and sort of dampen our ability to feel our essence, our light, our spirit. So part of how we deal with that is we live as healthy a life as we can. There's studies through an organization called the HeartMath Institute of HeartMath, that says if we hold a positive sense of truth in our heart, a spiritual truth, love, appreciation, joy, and we just breathe into that, actually that'll activate our spirit and make our bodies feel better too. Then we can more fully embody the spirit who we are.
I see. Yeah, Bob has another question. He's asking about stone nature. That sounds familiar to you, right?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Is he talking about the actual stones?
Well, he says it's something that he has been working at, but he has no. He's having trouble with it, is what he's saying.
Okay. Well, what I use with stones, I talk about elements, and that there's elements in the world. There's wood, fire, water, air, and stone is one of those. And so some people in specific want to be able to bring stone energy into their body. It builds their bones, but it also enables them to be strong and hardy. So that's what I think of when I talk about stones. And working with the stone element and stone nature, kind of hold a stone, let yourself feel like you're breathing in its qualities, and it will increase your strength and actually help you get into the history of any issue or question that you have in your head too.
I see. Yeah. And that's something you write about too. Is that,
Yeah.
well, yeah.
Well, I'm a big believer in working with elements, not just lighting a fire and hanging around it, because that is a fire element, but most of us feel the most energized when we imagine ourselves bringing an element that we like up into our body through our feet, or when we breathe it in. Like I breathe in air through my feet all the time. It makes me feel light and lovely. Some people bring in earth energy and then they feel grounded and solid. So I encourage people to start playing with those elements.
Okay. Can I just get one more in here? This is from Brooke, and she says she lives with the constant thoughts in her head. Don't let them see the real me. Yeah. Okay. How do you combat that feeling?
Okay, and I'm going to go really energy based here. I'm going to talk about chakras. When we have negative thoughts in our head, even though they're up here, the core of the issue is usually in what's called the third chakra in the solar plexus. It's in the stomach area. That's the energy center through which we hold fears, negative beliefs, and we bring those in from the world. So what I like to do is, I get those kind of thoughts too. We get that kind of rambunctious thinking or circular thinking. I always breathe deeply, feel my feet, and then imagine like a yellow light or a white light washing through my stomach from the back to the front to push out the energies that are not good for me or that are other people's energies. And you know what? It calms the brain down right away.
Yeah. Oh gosh, I couldn't use
Yeah, we
that.
could all use that, right? I do it like 4 times a day.
Yeah. Okay. That's good. That'll be my goal anyway.
There you go.
Cyndi will be right back with more about how you can find her. As promised, Cyndi will share a couple of easy ways to bring in and activate natural energy for any purpose, and tell us about next week's show, episode 2. How can you free yourself from energy vampires, people whom steal your energy? We'll be right back. Cyndi, we're back already. So tell us what are a couple of easy ways to bring in and activate natural energy for any purpose?
Okay, I'm going to give you a really practical way to do it. This is more physical because remember, there's subtle or invisible energy and there's physical energy. Do what they call forest bathing. Doesn't that make it sound really cool to go hang out with a tree or a number of trees? There's actually scientific research that shows if you spend time near water or near trees, the negative ions that are produced come into your body and they uplift your physical health. The Japanese call it forest bathing, and they actually have hundreds of thousands of people who now go to certain forests, walk around. They're not supposed to talk. They fill in with these negative ions, and it also activates their intuition as well. And I don't think you have to use a bathing suit. Just go hang out in the forest.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and those of us in the West Coast can do it in the ocean, right?
Yes, you can, because water works the same way, especially oceanic water, especially if there's salt in it. I'm not sure the Minnesota lakes, I don't think it qualifies if you just plop your fishing pole in and you sit there in the middle of a stayed lake.
Oh,
I don't
darn.
think
Okay.
that works the same.
All right. Well, that's good to know. Okay, so how can people find out more about you? I know you have a website and so forth.
I do. It's cindydale.com, spelled funny, CYNDIDALE.com.
All right. And then just talk about next week's episode 2.
Well, I sort of hinted at this in
I
the
know,
beginning
yeah.
of this episode. There's those negative people that just drain your energy. We call them energy vampires. So we're going to talk about from a subtle energy perspective, from invisible energy and chakras, what's happening, why you might be unconsciously or subconsciously giving them your energy, what might have been your childhood setup for that, and how do you break that pattern? Because you know what? If they come knocking, you don't have to give them your energy. You just need to know how to stop doing it.
That's a perfect way to remember it, when they come knocking. Yes, I like that. That makes it simple to remember. Hey, Cyndi, I want to thank you so much.
It's my pleasure. Thank you. Happy energy. That can be our new phrase.
I like it. I like it. Cyndi Dale is an internationally renowned author, a speaker, a healer, a business consultant, and the author of 27 books about energy medicine, intuition, and spirituality. And you can find out more on Facebook or YouTube, also at bloomerboomer.com. And if you like this, hey, please like us on Facebook and follow us. And in the meantime, so long, and we'll see you next time.